Y'all.
Hello.
Try to make your way.
No problem.
Where you want me? In the middle?
Just up a little bit closer.
Maybe behind the cage? You want more of a pro wrestling thing?
Yeah. Like a Baron
You can start like grinding fruit on the cage. Like
The old Baron promos.
Yeah,
I like this. I just mentioned him, the old tomato promo with the Baron and the Crusher. I like it.
Old cage match.
That's awesome. Step a little bit. One step closer. That way you don't look like you're gonna line up. Yeah.
All right. Who's starting? Oh, thank you. Yeah, I gotta represent. John Joseph. He's my man.
Feel like to be here not long week.
Be here?
It's been a long week.
I'm here every day. What's it like for you to be here? I've never seen you here. What's it like?
You know what I mean. What's it like to be on the cusp of finally getting to get in there for your first fight?
I very much, and this will be misconstrued as a quote if you just read it, but I very much have a I can't wait till it's over kind of feeling thing. You know, not that I'm I want to get it. I want to get it over with because I'm ready. I feel ready. I'm prepared, and being here every day for like 5 hours a day has made me feel that way. So it feels nice. There's like a relief. There's like a calm. I'm excited, a little bit of nervous energy, but it's all positive.
Does part of that have to do with the expectations that are on you for this fight from everybody, from your peers in the UFC, from the fans?
You know, that's like a case-by-case basis. I don't know what the expectations are. I know what my expectations are. I know what my team and my coach, what they expect out of me. And I think it depends on what corner of the media or the internet you look at to see what the expectations. People expect me to get knocked out. People expect me to get starched in 30 seconds. And the people who know, who see me work here every day, they expect me to win.
What are your expectations?
My expectations are to win. Go out there, whether it goes 3 rounds, whether it goes 3 seconds, my hand will get raised. That's what I expect. I expect to show up, best shape of my life, happiest I've ever been, and happy looking in the mirror before the fight, knowing job well done.
Now, you were saying just before about, the nervous energy. Is that all compared to when you had your first wrestling match, or is it two totally different things?
I think it's 2 totally different things. Like when you have your first wrestling match, you're trying to memorize everything. You're trying to not screw up. I feel like when I spar, it's more loose and I'm having more fun. I got to worry less about things. It's more muscle memory. And it's more, did you do enough preparation to perform? And I 100% feel I have. And I still got 1 week of hard training to go.
Duke was talking about how, the episodes show you pre-back injury. We were here, obviously, a long time ago, did a story with you. How long of a road has it been for you to get to this point?
I mean, it's been a pretty long road, and it's funny because you can ask yourself, what happens if I lose? What happens if I get embarrassed in front of the world? And then you think to yourself, well, you've shit yourself on national television before, so how bad can it go? How bad can it really be? What's the worst thing that can happen? And I tend to think of this entire journey, it being more about that journey and discovery about yourself and making new connections with coaches and friends and teammates than it is the final destination. But for me, if I never did this, I'd still be walking around with a herniated disc. And the thing about being a wrestler is you're your own worst enemy. You just keep going. And I was in here every day, and I just kept going, and I just kept going. And I could make excuses like, oh yeah, okay, my back's just sore. These guys are better than me. They're faster than me. Maybe I'm just getting old. I'm not as strong as I used to be. And then once I got diagnosed with the herniated disc, it was like, you can't even get a shot to fix this. You got to get this thing cut out of yourself. It wasn't even so much like disappointment or depression or anything. Like I was elated, and then I came back in the gym and I was a completely different person. So, what's the worst thing that can happen? The worst thing that can happen is I get back surgery and I feel like my whole self again, and my dog's all over television and he's pretty awesome. And I just look at everything, I guess, differently than everybody. So the footage that everybody's seeing, and criticizing, yeah, absolutely, 100%. I was operating on 25% power.
You can take the Chicago, or you can take the boy out of Chicago. Can you take the Chicago out of a do
No.
That you live here now?
No, I don't think so. I go home on the weekends to make sure my house hasn't burned down. So, I'm still very much, I'm a dual citizen of Milwaukee and Chicago, and it's all Midwest, and the weather's all the same, and the people are all the same pretty much. So it's all good.
Food all the same too?
For what I'm eating right now, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I won't get into a pizza argument with you.
Your first UFC fight, but you've seen the big lights, the spotlight, the pressure, that sort of thing. How does dealing with that in the past help you deal with it now in a different sport?
I think this is old hat for me. I think other people, walk into a gym and, see all this and they're just like, ooh, this is a little bit spooky, And to me, I just kind of make a joke and I go, oh, all this for little old me. It's old hat. I'm just used to it. I'm comfortable in front of the cameras, in front of the lights, in front of people, booing, cheering, doing whatever they're going to do. I've had batteries and loaded diapers thrown at me. It's all good.
Does that give you an advantage in the fight? Just if you look at it.
Having a loaded diaper thrown at me?
Anybody, I'm getting it right now, but no, just being in front of the bright lights. You wrestled in front of 80,000 people. Mickey Gall's lucky to be fighting in front of a couple thousand people. So do you feel all that and all of this right now gives you that advantage heading into it?
I think it could give me an advantage, but it's not anything tangible that I'm leaning on giving me an advantage. Like, I'm not hoping that frazzles Mickey or anything, because we don't know. It might not. It might. If it does, yay for me. If it doesn't, good for him.
I know Mickey's tough. This is really a battle against yourself. Could you touch on that?
Yeah, there's only probably one guy that you can't find more tape on than Mickey, and it's me. So I think the fight's intriguing, but without sounding disrespectful to him, this is my story. So this is about me wanting and almost needing to do something just to prove to myself that I can. There's people out there that, like I've said, they hope I lose, and there's people out there that realize that once I step into the octagon, I've already won. And for me, I'll probably say this a dozen more times today. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey. And that, to me, is a microcosm of life. It's not about the diploma you get after 6 or 4 years of college. It's about learning and the experience you gain during those years, and the people you meet, and the bonds and the connections you make along that way.
I hate to put things on your shoulders that you can't control, but people have been told, just like you've been told, they can't, they won't, they shouldn't, they never will. And you've been told that too. You're kind of the people's champion in a lot of ways in that regard. Is that something you're happy to take on your shoulders, or it's just inevitable with so many people looking up to you and you fighting for, believing in yourself when kind of no one else did for a little while?
Well, I don't know if that's my responsibility to bear. I do very much appreciate when people say that they look up to me and they see me as an inspiration, and I do take that very seriously. But there's also a flip side to the coin. There's the people that will look at you or somebody else and write you off and say that you're a joke. You can't really get married to either idea. You get too far. Your head's too far up your own ass if you believe, like, oh yeah, I'm the people's champion, and I'm this, and then you're already defeated if you say things like, oh I don't belong here, I suck, I'm this and I'm that, and it's very much a balance. I'm a guy that if you say, I hope you lose, and I'm like, great, I don't have to worry about you anymore, and then somebody over here is like, we're pulling for you, I say thank you, I appreciate it. There's a fine line. You got to walk the middle.
Anthony says you're going to surprise some people. What, in your opinion, are you going to surprise them with?
Just that I'm ready. I think a lot of people have misgivings of, what it takes to fight. And to me, that's the most important word, is fight. I don't care if somebody wants to make fun of my technique, how not crisp my right hand is. It's going to land. And that's the punch I care about, the one that lands. Tell me I didn't turn my wrist over soon enough, I don't care. It landed, and I think that's how I'm going to surprise a lot of people. I spar with Anthony on a weekly basis. I don't think anybody would be surprised at the outcome of every single time I've ever sparred Anthony. He's a world champion, I spar with guys, Mike Biggie Rhodes, he belongs in the UFC. Gerald Mershart belongs in the UFC. Craig Eckelberg belongs in the UFC. I truly believe that everybody on this pro team belongs in the UFC, and this is the toughest team in America.
Is your wife on board now? You said before when this all first happened that there was some convincing that needed to happen. And is she finally on board on the train, or is she still gonna kind of watch with one eye open type of situation?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how she's going to watch. But she's fully on board. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do this without her for sure. People talk about, your coaches and your teammate preparing you. She's, it's like head coach Duke Rufus and like kind of grandmaster April Brooks. You know what I mean? Like she's not in here, putting it on me, but she's at home. She lets me sleep in when I need it. She cooks meals when I'm exhausted. She lets me sit on the couch and ice my back when I need to. She walks Larry extra when she has to. So she's really stepped up. And selfishly, I'd probably say she's my best teammate. You know what I mean?
You're not a look in the rearview mirror type of guy, but a lot of people have speculated you come out to the ring and with cult of personality. Have you decided kind of what you want for your first fight to come out to? And
I've decided. I decided a long time ago. Yeah, but you gotta
wait.
order the pay-per-view. Yeah.
I will. I promise I will.
Awesome.
And then the only other thing is, can you still cut a hot promo?
Can I?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You can ask me to do it now, aren't you? No.
If you
no,
want
I
to.
can. Yeah, for sure. I think that's something that never goes away, and I think you're more or less born with that, But it'll probably happen the closer you get to the fight. Like I said, I'm just super stoked and happy, and I'm not really in that headspace to be cutting pro wrestling promos,
I know you had said leading up to this, you had talked to Brock and kind of helped you, guide you when you first made this journey. And have you been able to pick his head a little more just as this has gone on and further along in the process as we get closer to the fight?
No, he reached out. He offered his help and his support. He gave me the thumbs up and said, reach out if you have stupid questions. Go ahead and ask me. And then he lives in the middle of nowhere in like Saskatchewan. I think I texted him once and it bounced back right away. So I didn't expect him to get back to me right away. He's like combining on a farm somewhere.
What do you make of everything that went on with him after UFC was over?
I think it sucks. I do. I get tested by USADA all the time, and I'm the drug-free kid, and I still get nervous. You know what I mean? Like I'm still like, it's like when you're driving on the highway and a cop's behind you. You're like, well, I wasn't speeding, and my taillights aren't out, but like, let me get over here. Like I want to, get out. So I like what they're doing with the sport. That whole thing bums me out. Like he came back. He fought an impressive fight and he won, and then he fails a test. It always bums me. It bums me out when anybody fails tests.
Because it gives you a bad look. Because I've seen some people say, "Oh, look at Punk. Maybe this is what that old WWE statement." What do you say to people like that?
I mean, look at me and look at the bodies of the guys who fail tests. You know what I mean? Like I'm a skinny fat kid from Chicago. You know what I mean? Like I don't think it reflects on me at all. I think if it reflects on me, it's because I'm a fighter in the UFC, and it reflects poorly on all of us.
Punk, thank you.
Oh, no.
Good luck.